even know what is actually working for. You just know you're doing this, but what are you actually training? I said earlier, you have to train with intention. You don't just do because, okay, it's just to raise it. No, you're not just raising it up. You're raising with the intention to actually do something there. No, you're not just doing for doing sake. So now, we're going over the basics. For the male, listen. Come closer. So now, the shoulder. This is obviously the shoulder, of course, but there are heads to it. There are different parts of the shoulder. Not all exercises are the same. Listen. So this is the front delt. Okay. Its work is primarily raising up, raise up, raise up. You can see it's literally squeezing. Here is not squeezing. Here is not squeezing. This is what is activating because that is what you're working on. So when you do a front raise, it works on your front delt, not side delt. You have to train with intention. And as you're raising the dumbbell, your aim is to squeeze that front delt, not just raise with your forearm, because other muscles are involved. But what you prioritize is what will work more. Okay, you can use your bicep to raise it up, but that is not the point. Your aim is to train your front delt. So this is the front delt. Then side delt. There are three heads, like I said. This is side delt. So it works when you're raising to your side, literally. So if you notice when you're doing side delt, you always feel lateral raise, right? You always feel it here. Why? Because that is actually what is working. And you don't use your forearm. You aim to work your mid delt. Then rear delt. Squeeze it. So the work of rear delt is to actually take your hand back. You can see how it's activating. Here is not activating. Here is not. Here is what is predominantly working. So this is your rear delt. So now when it comes to bicep, there are two heads to the bicep. Short head, which is when you squeeze this way. You can see here is activating more. And we have the long head, which is when you do a hammer curl this way. Okay? Then the forearm, obviously, it has parts, but let's just categorize everything as one. But actually, there are two, which is the anterior, which is one that is outside, and the posterior part, which is here when you squeeze this way. So now for the back, there are several parts of the back. We have the trap. Flex your trap, please. This is the trap. And when it comes to trap, there are two parts actually. There's the upper trap. This is the upper trap. And there's the lower trap, which is this part. So when you shrug, you don't just keep doing this. No, you take it to the back. So when you take it to the back, it covers everything. Everything, both the upper and lower. Can I say everything is activating, not just the top. Then your rear is also part of your back. Then we have the teres major rotator cuff, basically, which is here. It's responsible for taking your hand back. The rear delts together, they all work together, but you can prioritize one over the other. If you're training here, when you move, you think about actually using here to move, not using here to move. So when your hand is higher up, the rear delt takes over. When it's lower, here, the class is different. You're not just moving. You get me? You're not just moving for moving sake. When you're training your upper back is here. Your rear delt plus trap. So when you're rowing, you roll up. You literally feel it. It's not just pulling. You're not just pulling. You have to pull with intention. What's your aim? I'm training upper back. Are you feeling your upper back? Are you? So that's how you have to always think. So now we have the lat. This is the lat. Kindly flex it. So even last has upper and lower portion. This is the upper part. It's wide like this. Then the lower part. So when you're rowing, you can target your upper lat or lower lat. Some women combine both, but some are very, very specific. Then you have the lower back. Then now when it comes to leg, help us flex it. Then, Bele. Maybe they talk, uncle. So now the leg has three parts. We have the quads, and the quad has four heads actually, which is quadriceps, quad 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can literally see his leg is shredded. So when you're doing squats, a squat is a compound movement. Compound movement means it's involving more than one group of muscles, which is when you do, you feel it everywhere. Same with bench. Compound movements always emphasize multiple muscle groups. So now when you squat, you're literally training everything: your quads, your hamstring, your glutes, your calves, everything. But how you do the squat also matters. When you put a plate under you and you squat, it's to emphasize more of your quads because you're tipping forward. And when you squat more, a back squat, general one, it emphasizes more of your hamstring and glutes. So if you notice, you sometimes feel it there more. So your position of your head actually matters a lot. If you're tipping forward, you'll be using more of your quads. And if you're leaning back it more, you'll be using more of your hamstring. Mark's form of squatting is always leaning forward actually. If you notice, that's actually how he does it. And the squats are much more developed because of that, because he's using more of his quads. What you use more will get better, will get bigger. There's no two way around it. You cannot cheat it. Okay, so if you're training quads, you're training your leg, you're not feeling your leg, there's no point, because you are not using it, it will not grow. Mind muscle connection, that's also another term. Mind muscle connection means feeling the muscle you are actually training. I'm training quads now, and I'm not feeling the quads. It means your mind is not actually there, you're not feeling it. Zero work done. Yes, it's something may be working with it, but it's not as if you're using your mind muscle connection. So if you're training your hips now, for example with the cables, if you're not feeling your hips, are you doing it? No. What are you training? Hips, but you're using your glutes. That's not how it works. You have to think about what you're actually training. If you're doing RDLs, when you bend, you have to feel your hamstring. RDLs work for hamstring. RDLs could also work for glutes. So it depends on what you're training. Are you training hamstring or glutes? You define your goal. My goal is to train hamstring. So when you're going down, you're not supposed to be feeling your glutes. All you think about is stretching that hamstring, not your glutes. Are you feeling? And you're not using your lower back. You're not training lower back. RDL is not for lower back. You're training your hamstring. So you feel that hamstring work when you're doing it. When you're going down, don't use your lower back, because when you use your lower back, you tip forward. Yes, you are going down, but are you actually training the hamstring? No. So you have to feel it. Intention matters. You train with intention, not just anyhow. And mind muscle connection once again. And your aim once again when it comes to gym is to push more than you pushed last time. Okay, that's what creates muscle growth. You don't need volume. You don't need to do too much. Just push more than you pushed last time. If you're doing 10 reps of 50 kg, do 12 reps. When you come next week, your aim is to do what? Do more than 12. You aim higher. That is your goal. That's what creates muscle growth. Okay? So now as I was saying, quads, hamstring. Max doesn't really do hamstring like that. He's just starting. So you see, his quads are more developed than his hamstring. It's obvious. Why? He's using his quads more. With leg extension, you can use the whole stack self. No problem, Abby. He's used to it because that's what he does more. What you do more, we show. It will be obvious. It will fuck. You cannot just cheat it. You need to understand this. Then when it comes to calves now, you see the calves is well developed because he trains calves a lot. So your leg has three components: the quads, hamstring, and calves. And of course your glutes, of course. Glutes are very, and the glutes has heads. The upper part, gluteus maximus, which is one up. Say one up. Yeah, I know, guys. Everybody has. And when you train with intention, like I said. When you do your glute kickback with the cable, you feel it here. This is different from doing this. It's totally different. And it's still different from doing this. So you're not just kicking back aimlessly. No, I need to understand this. Don't just kick back aimlessly. You feel where you're actually training. Are you training your gluteus maximus or medius? So you feel it. Just think about it. Where you actually want to train, not just aimlessly kicking back. So you need to understand this. You train with intention, and your purpose is to move more than you moved last time. So now when it comes to training, there are two types: compound movements, isolation. Compound movements are squats, barbell, and deadlifts. Even rowing is a compound because it uses multiple muscles. But when you do isolation is literally isolating that muscle as much as possible. Target it. Think about it. When I'm doing a bend, I'm not thinking about just using. I have to use my chest, I have to use my shoulder, I have to use everything to push, not just the chest. But when I'm doing a cable fly, I have to absolutely feel it here. I'm not using my shoulder. Are you feeling me? Your aim is not just to push. I can use my tricep to push. I can use my shoulder to push, but you push with your chest because that's what you're after. Not just mindlessly doing no. Yes, your chest, you feel something, but not as if you train with intention. You need to train with intention. Okay? So when you go in there, you train with, you understand, with clarity. This is what I'm doing, and I'm doing this. I'm achieving what I came here to do, not just mindlessly doing it. Are we on the same page?
Sure.
Tessie, are we on the same page? You understand? I don't know. Any questions? Thanks, my bro. Any questions?